At this stage, you've added a Hit Me button to Bullseye, but when you tap it, nothing happens. That simply won't do. It's time to add some interactivity to the app. Let's start by making the button simply print out a text message to the console when you tap it. Okay, so in our main.dart file, we want to scroll down to game page state and find the flat button that we added in the last episode. The flat button has an onPress property, which tells the button what to do when it's pressed. And we have some syntax here, a pair of parentheses and braces. The code that's going to run when the button is pressed goes between these braces. So I'm going to hit return here. And this is where the print statement will go. So I just type in print and then button pressed and a semicolon. Button pressed is a string enclosed in quotes that we pass to the print method. When the button's pressed, onPressed will run, our print statement will run, and button pressed will show up in the console. So now I'm going to show the debug console by going to View, Debug Console. Now I'm going to run the app by hitting Control F5. Once the app is up and running, if I click on the Hit Me button in the emulator, we see our button pressed message in the debug console. Print is an example of a function. A function is like a method, except that it's not attached to any object. Not being attached to an object means that you can use it without having to name an object first. In Dart, anytime you see a name that starts with a lowercase letter that's immediately followed by parentheses, such as build or print, you're probably looking at the name of a function or method. The difference is that methods are preceded by the object they belong to when being called, while functions don't belong to objects and simply appear on their own. Remember though the special case of constructor methods, which kind of look like function calls. You can't attach them to an object yet because you're using them to create the object itself. The print function takes some text and then prints it to the console, which is the pane in the lower right of VS Code that we saw earlier. You can think of print as a developer's best friend. It's very useful as a debugging tool, which means its purpose is to help you figure out what's going on in your program and to find the cause of any bugs you may have. You only see its results in the console while you're developing the app. If you take your app and ship it to the iOS App Store or Google Play Store, print has no effect. It's there only to help you out while you're developing. But normally you remove print statements before shipping your app. As you continue programming, you'll find yourself using print as an indicator to check that a specific piece of code is being executed, or to check some value that your program has stored. In the code you just wrote, you're using print to make sure that you run some code when you tap the button. The fact that pressing Hit Me in your app causes print to print button pressed in the console is a good sign. It means that you've proven you can make something happen when the button is pressed. Congratulations! You've just written some interactive code. But you're not done yet. Since print is a debugging tool, users never see the results. From their point of view, pressing Hit Me still does nothing. You still have to make the button provide a response that the user can see. To do that, you'll write your first brand new method in the next episode, as we take a look at widget state.